Hi boys and girls, today we're going to be creating our pond water, and Mrs. Walker hopes you will find some colors that you think you might like to see in the water. I'm going to use all of these colors. I'm going to use yellow and light green, and you can hardly tell. This is actually a light blue. It says blue-green on it. It looks like black, but it's really not. White and dark blue. I'm going to use all of these, and I'm going to make wavy lines on my paper, and then when I'm done I'm going to paint over it. So I'm just going to start with the dark green, and I'm going to do as many wavy lines as I want, back and forth, and then I'm going to switch to the dark blue, put a few blue lines in there. Be sure to go all the way to the edges. If your water is really turbulent, you could make your lines way higher. I'm going to make these way higher yellow lines. Wavy, wavy lines with yellow. And then I've got my turquoise blue. Just a little bit lighter than the other blue. Alright, and light green. Now, you don't have to use all these colors that Mrs. Walker's using. You could just pick yellow and green and blue, or just yellow and green. But don't forget white. White's actually fun because it'll show up when we're done. Now, you can't see what I'm doing right now, right? But when we paint over this with watercolors, which is what we're going to do, you'll be able to see where I did white lines, okay? All right, now, once we're done with that, we got to first make sure, what do we have to make sure is on the back? Yes, I hope you said your name and class code. And you're either in K1 or you're in K2. Oops. That's not true. If you're in K1, K2, or K3, you're at Grant Wood with me. If you're at Paul Norton, you're in KA, KB, or in KC. So you're going to just write whichever one you're in, okay? You're not in all of those. And then flip it back over. We're going to need a messy mat to put under our paper because we're going to paint all the way to the edges here today, okay? And then each table will be sharing some watercolors. Now, we know that ponds are greenish water or blue, so you can use your light blue or your dark blue or your green. There's a turquoise blue over here. There's a really light yellow. Probably not these colors though, right? We're going to avoid those because those are not pond colors. Black is not a pond color. Red, orange, yellow, not pond colors. White doesn't show up on white, so skip that one. Pretty much, this little blue over here is probably the one, but otherwise it's these guys right here that we're going to use today. And we're going to need some water. And I've got big paint brushes for you. So the first thing you want to do is wake up your paint. This paint is very dry, so you've got to give it a good little amount of water. And then you have to stir, stir, stir in order to wake up the paint, okay? I'm going to start with this light green. I have to really stir it a bunch of times in order for that water to get mixed in with the paint. So if you just put water in there and you paint with that, you're painting with water. See how now it's starting to turn light green, my little puddle is there, so I'm ready to paint. Okay, here I go. And I'm going to put some green on here. Might need a little bit more. There you go. Then I'm going to stir, 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 and use some of the blue. Here you go. Stir, stir, stir. Ooh, I like the blue. That's pretty too. Kind of a light blue. I've got to go all the way to the edges. Okay. Ooh, I want some dark blue now. I want some of my water to be dark blue. Ooh, I like that swirled in there and not all mixed together. Look at how pretty that looks when you don't mix them all. You just leave a little bit of blue. I'm doing kind of wavy lines. You could do wavy lines with your paintbrush. Let's try this one. Ooh, that's pretty too. So paint your whole paper with blues and greens everywhere you can go. I got a little corner over here that doesn't have any. Some pond water is green because it has algae in it, and some is blue. It doesn't have as much algae. Now, some pond water is brown, and we don't really want brown pond water, but that would mean it has a lot of mud and dirt in it. Okay, once yours is painted, ooh, I missed this whole edge, didn't I? Better add a little bit more there. Make sure you paint it all the way to the edges, and then this goes on the drying rack, okay? Mrs. Walker's covered up her whole paper, and I'm ready to put mine on the drying rack.